His sister bit it too? Yeah, that's right. All right. Our next comic on stage, also from Salem. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Jeff Parks.
Been a bit of a roadblock. People leaving, they don't want to hear me.
Smoke break. They need nicotine.
All right. I mean, I could provide that. I mean, looking at me, you just get jazzed up with that, right? Well, yeah, my name is Jeffrey Ambrose Parks Jr. Junior, because my dad wanted to create a legacy of manic depression and gout. So thanks, Dad. But also, my middle name is Ambrose. I was named after this guy named Ambrose Burnside. If you don't know who that is, he was a general during the Civil War, and he was considered the worst general in American history because he led all of his men into death. So my dad thought that that would be a good middle name for me, but also, he is the reason that sideburns were invented, so it's kind of a wash, you know. That's me. I'm white. I don't know if you can tell. Like, not just regular white, like, my family history is like if you took all of the countries and cultures of Europe and took out any of the ones with like history or art or anything like resembling fun and just, you know, left all the things that are left over is like cold beet soup and like suppressed anger and, you know, just Vikings, basically. That's my history. And Vikings were basically just pirates, not good people. So that's my history. One time I went to a pirate-themed singles mixer, which it was all right, but I'm not sure that, especially in today's climate, that pirates were really the best idea for a singles mixer, considering that most of what pirates did was rape. So, just saying, it's not really a great idea. I'm not very good with segues, but not bad enough as the owner anyway. Beeswax means business. And if you think about it, bees are probably pretty upset that we're stealing their beeswax because it's none of ours. There are two types of generalizations, this kind and all the others. I think that the easiest martial art, if I had to choose one, is bodybuilding, or as I like to call it, Tai Chi, bro. Someone told me that Salem is the meth capital of Oregon, and I'm not saying that that's true. Lebanon, or you guys?
Sweet home.
I don't know where you guys stand on that, but sweet home. Okay. How exactly do they vote on that?
I sold insurance.
I mean, it makes sense because I'm pretty sure that they have a high voter turnout. You know, higher than the national average anyway. They're very motivated. Someone wants to be mayor, you know? That town.
Crabtree.
Oh, we're just naming towns. New York City!
Overrated.
Style.
Oh my God. Anyway, I don't know if anybody remembers Hugs Not Drugs, but it was this campaign where they wanted you to give hugs and not drugs. And I always thought that was strange because, like, for one thing, why can't you have both? In my experience, anyway, drugs are often the parents of hugs. So, I mean, you don't want to get too carried away, like, you know you're getting lazy if you're using heroin as an upper, you know? It's not a good idea. I'm not terribly healthy. as you might be able to tell from that. But recently I did get healthcare for the first time ever. Thanks, Lars.
We worry about you, Jeff.
A lot of people are. But yeah, no, I got healthcare, and it's one of those things where I was worried about all these medications that I have to take now, like all of these drugs that I have to take to not die. I hope they don't like interact negatively with all the drugs that I take to not want to die. And then thinking about that, I was like, oh, that's the most adult thought that I've ever had. I'm becoming a real boy. Just couldn't pronounce that weird. Boy. I'm becoming a real boy. Lift me up. But yeah, and because of the healthcare, I recently was sleeping and I died. So I thought I might have to check that out with the doctor. Went to a doctor and he said that I have probably something called sleep apnea. And I was like, I'm so tired, like, are you sure I don't also have, like, awake apnea? Maybe? And he looked at me funny, wrote something down, and then I had to do a drug test, which I failed, and then a sleep test, which I'm also pretty sure I failed because I don't think you can pass a test by being resuscitated. But now because of that, I have like a device that helps me breathe when I sleep that makes it look like I'm going down on a space squid. So that's nice for all the ladies that are coming home with me. Darth Vader's pretty sexy. Oh yeah, I'm fat. I'm pretty sure you can tell that part anyway. I don't even mind that word even. The one I don't understand is morbidly obese. For one thing, why does my personality have to come into this at all? And also, why am I obsessed with death just because I like to eat tacos? You know, it's rude. I prefer maybe bitterly husky. I don't go down to your gym and call you homophobically muscle bound, you know. It's just about respect. Thanks for the inputs. Fatties. People still nowadays put no fatties on like Tinder profiles or whatever, and that's crazy to me because like who is looking at that as like swipe left, like put that, I'm like this guy, no, and then ooh, no fatties. I'm not a fatty. Swipe right. Like the internet is basically just a machine to make things grosser than they already were. Because like back in the day, as gross as personal ads were, like there's no way that you're gonna get a dick pic into the newspaper, you know? Like it's ridiculous. Here's a tip if you're dating and you have a kinky significant other. Play the game Operation and touch the sides. Just a tip. So I found this documentary, and it was this really artsy documentary, and it had like an 80s like all the acting was really like bad, but you could tell it was kind of on purpose. And it was just a bunch of people having sex with each other. But like, and it, you know, they were giving it their all, but the ending for me anyway was really anticlimactic. But it did have 32 sequels, so I'm gonna try again. You know, they always say 33rd time the charm. Anybody heard of the fleshlight? It's a flashlight that you fuck, and it has a bunch of different attachments. There's a vagina, and there's an asshole, gross. And then there's an alien vagina, which is intriguing, how they know. Area 51, that's all I'm saying. I want to believe. But I think they should make an eye socket fleshlight for crazy people, so that they can get their frustrations out in a positive way. No one's gonna do it. Don't kick shame me! A friend of mine told me that he had balls of steel. And I told him he should probably check with the doctor on that because I don't think his lover would appreciate the bruised taint. If there's one thing that I've learned from my time in the sex industry, it's that foreigners are stealing our blowjobs. I'll be accepting donations after the show. I think that Stone Cold Steve Austin probably has a room in his house that he just uses for jerking off, and he calls it the Stone Cold Creamery. I used to work at a convenience store, and there was a product called Muscle Milk that we sold, and that is definitely the grossest name for any product I've ever heard in my life. Like immediately, I just think of like a really buff guy with like nipples all over his biceps, and like those things attached, you know. Or like alternatively, like just like a baby bicep sucking on a beefy bro tit, you know. It's real gross. Yeah, I worked at a convenience store. And I tend to be a bit of a pessimist, which I think those two are related, maybe. Maybe. We had a lot of interesting people come in. One time, a lady came into the AM/PM. Oh shit! Don't tell anybody. Delete the recording. And immediately after the door closed behind her, just at the top of her lungs, was just like, "Squeeze me! Where y'all pussy product at?" That lady was white, just saying. And was another guy. He came in. He was wearing a straw hat, a Hawaiian shirt, jorts, and then Crocs with socks. And I was like, that's pretty crazy. But then also, he was wearing a really high-end, or not wearing, he was holding a really high-end briefcase. And I was like, what business are you doing, sir? And then I realized he's dressed exactly like Newman was in Jurassic Park. He's trying to steal all of our dinosaur embryos. Luckily, my manager's seen that movie, and we have the security measures in place. Taking our dino, baby. Another guy, he was wearing 5 pieces of clothing, and 4 of them were completely covered in rhinestones. Cowboy hat, a leather jacket, black pants, and black cowboy boots. And the 5th piece of clothing was a t-shirt that had the Batman logo, but instead of the normal Batman logo, it had boobs. And it said Boob Man. Pretty sure that's the guy that happened to win the movie Glitter by Mariah Carey, got bitten by a radioactive spider, and that bit Kid Rock. My favorite ever, though, was this guy that comes in. He's dirty, which it happens. And he walks a circle around the store, takes off his shirt, and he looks at me, and he says, "Hey, are you guys hiring?" And I was like, oh, so that's what optimism looks like. I used to, a long time ago, work at Blockbuster Video, which, if you don't know what that is, I can explain after the show. They rented videotapes. And there was this commercial that Blockbuster had for a guinea pig and a rabbit, and the guinea pig was excited about videos, and he was dancing around going, "I'm a maniac, maniac," which is pretty funny. It's a reference to that movie. It was from 1980. And you know, it's funny. It's funny. You go to Blockbuster because it's funny. And we had these plush dolls that were based on those. And if you I never know how to disclosed it, it said, "I'm a maniac. And nobody bought these for some reason, so they just sat on the shelf. And after a while, you would squeeze it and it would just be like, "I'm a maniac." And so we would just call people with late fees and leave that on their instruments. How do you think the National Sleep Foundation ever gets anything done? Just a thought. This one, okay. If I had a time machine and I went into the future, that would make me a postmodernist. And if I went into the past, that would make me a historical determinist. I love that. Okay, that joke never gets a laugh, but it makes me laugh because it's a philosophy joke. This is why you don't do this. So I'm pretty sure that steampunk just is wearing goggles, right? That's all I can seem to pick up. Wind chimes. Why do wind chimes exist? The only time I've ever experienced a wind chime is when it's 2 in the morning and it just creeps me out. What's the deal with wind chimes? Anybody smoke cigarillos in here? At AMPM, people would buy those and smoke them outside, and I'm just like, why do you want to smell like a campfire fucked a LaCroix? You know? I mean, why? It's gross. I smoke cigarettes and that's gross. Anyway. If there's one thing I really hate, it's toxic masculinity. It's easily Megadeth's worst album, you guys. So, Harry Potter. There's one thing that always bugged me about Harry Potter, and it's that he gets a wand and it has a dragon heartstring inside of it. And it's like, how is PETA not on our ass about this? That's like a fucking endangered animal. Like, that's like if you gave kids at grade school like white rhino horn pencils or something. That's fucked up. Just saying. I'm not impressed with vampires. They have way too many weaknesses. If you just list them off, it sounds ridiculous. Like garlic. How are you defeated by something that grows in the fucking ground and tastes delicious? Also, water that some creepy guy would talk to once. Why? How? The sun? That's literally 50% of all time that you can't be outside because of the sun. And then, if someone doesn't let you into their house, you can't go in. Like, so why the only polite monster? Like, why is that a thing? Anyway. Even for vampires, consent is key, that's the point. I used to have a lot of skeletons in my closet, but then they came out, and now I just have a bunch of gay skeletons. When I was a kid, I looked very similarly to the way I do now. Strange how that works. And people would always come up to me, and they would say, "Hey, you got broad shoulders, why aren't you playing football?" And I would just be like, even back then, I was like, so what you're saying is basically like, oh, you're a giant fat piece of shit. Why don't you take your spine and throw it against other fat pieces of shit spines so that you break them, and then we can all laugh and cheer on the sidelines. I can't think of another way for you to contribute to society, really. And I just sadly roll up another D&D character. I think I might be too nice. I guess Lars doesn't think so. I think I might be too nice, and not in the sense of like a fedora and hentai kind of a way, but like the only reason I'm still alive at this point is because I'm afraid of ruining someone's carpet. Or like if it was in a public place, like I feel like they'd just be like, "Clean up, Gary!" And then this guy like wheels out a barrel of sawdust. He's got a cigarette, like, "God damn kids!" And he's like pouring sawdust on all of me. And I mean, they might not use sawdust anymore. They have like ShamWows now, right? So that's like what would happen in my head. Or like with my luck, I'd be like trying to hang myself in a closet, and then the whole closet just collapses on me. And then there's a womp womp noise, and then we lose our security deposit. Like it's just that's my luck. Like one time I was sitting in a circle with all these top tier Portland comedians, and we're all high. And I'm sitting in a plastic chair, which is important to the story. And I'm telling a story where it's one of those stories where I'm halfway through, and I'm like, this is a shitty, stupid story. Why did I start telling this story? But you're already halfway through, so you have to finish it. And then I finish the story, and there's 1 second of everybody looking, staring, and judging me. And then my chair explodes into 1,000 pieces and I'm falling ass. And it's like, how does a chair even do that? Like, I'm not that fat. I couldn't find a piece of this chair bigger than a playing card. It's like they strap charges to it or something. Anyway, I'm gonna leave you with this. I can't wait until Ann Coulter dies, because then I can call her a Coultergeist. I mean, I know like that sort of thing isn't really my Roltergeist. One person that always seemed really nice that I want to hang out with is Dave Roltergeist. I just got a new car. I'm really excited. It's a Kia Soltergeist. Something I'm really passionate about is gun control device. After the show, I'm hoping someone will join me in smoking a Boltergeist. It's real sad. Recently, my uncle died. It turned out he had a cancerous Moltergeist. Look, I get it. A lot of these jokes are really taking their Toltergeist. And I'm really digging a Holtergeist. Alright, I'm done. Have a good night.
Jeffrey Ambrose, March Jr., ladies and gentlemen. We'll be outside explaining Blockbuster to you, Johnny questions.